Breaking news on Mr. Karmelo Anthony. Seems like that video footage is circulating now and being released, and it wasn't quite the self-defense that everybody claimed it was.
You're sitting in a packed courtroom, and every breath feels louder than it should. The tension is suffocating. All eyes are on the screen as the prosecution cues up the footage, grainy, time-stamped, and devastating. It's the video that prosecutors claim shattered every defense. The moment it ends, a silence settles over the room like a heavy fog. And then, just minutes later, Karmelo Anthony's parents do the unthinkable. They plead guilty. You can see the flicker of shock ripple through the crowd. Metcalf family members clenching each other's hands, journalists scrambling for their phones, even the judge pausing before speaking. The video, previously sealed from the public, allegedly shows movements and conversations from the night of Austin Metcalf's death, evidence the prosecution described as undeniably premeditated. It wasn't just their presence at the scene, it was how they moved, what they said, and who they contacted before and after. She planned this with her husband days before it happened, the state attorney said, voice stern and unwavering, and this footage proves it. The guilty plea wasn't just a legal decision, it was a turning point, one that made headlines the second it hit the courtroom record. Some courtroom observers gasped audibly, others whispered in disbelief, but no one missed the look on Mrs. Anthony's face, part sorrow, part resignation, as she mouthed something silently to the Metcalf family, a final apology maybe, or a last plea for understanding. Even the judge took a moment. He looked directly at the defendants before confirming their plea. You understand what you're admitting to? First-degree murder with premeditation? And they said yes. And now people are asking, why now? Was the video that damning? Or is there another motive behind this sudden plea deal? Would you have accepted the footage as enough if you were sitting on that jury? You barely noticed the clicking of keyboards anymore. Reporters typing frantically in the back row, trying to keep up, but your eyes are fixed on the defendants. Karmelo Anthony's parents, sitting stone-faced as the prosecutor reads out the terms of the plea. No outbursts, no emotion, just silence. It's as if the weight of what they admitted to hasn't even sunk in. The details of the agreement are grim. By pleading guilty to first-degree murder with premeditation, they avoid a grueling trial, but not a harsh sentence. The prosecution makes it clear, this isn't mercy. This deal spares the Metcalf family from reliving every frame of that footage in open court, the DA says. But make no mistake, they will be punished to the full extent of the law. For the first time, the judge allows the victim's family to speak. Austin Metcalf's older sister steps forward, clutching a handwritten letter with shaking fingers. She doesn't cry, she doesn't yell, she just reads. You killed my brother, and now you get to walk through this courtroom like you still have a future, but ours died with him. Her words don't just echo, they hang in the air. Even the defense attorneys avoid eye contact. It's a rare moment of power in a case that, until now, has been dominated by speculation and silence. As the plea agreement is finalized, new questions begin to surface. Why would a family with resources, influence, and legal backing accept a guilty plea so quickly? Was the video the tipping point, or was something else uncovered behind the scenes? Outside the courtroom, crowds are forming again. Protesters, supporters, reporters. The divide is growing, and this guilty plea hasn't brought closure. It's cracked the case wide open, and now people are wondering, what was in that footage the public hasn't seen yet? And why are authorities still keeping parts of it sealed? You're seated near the back when the court replays a short, edited version of the video. The same footage that forced Karmelo Anthony's parents into that guilty plea. It's grainy, time-stamped, and silent, but it doesn't need sound to deliver its message. You see movement, planning, hesitation, then the act. It's not a crime of passion, it's precise. The footage shows the Anthony parents outside Austin Metcalf's apartment, circling the block multiple times in a black SUV hours before the attack. Prosecutors pause the video, highlighting text message logs synced to the timeline. At 6:42 p.m., Karmelo's father texts his wife, "He should be coming out soon. You ready?" You hear gasps in the courtroom. And from there, the plan unfolds like a scene from a scripted show. Gloves on, hoodies up. Moments later, Austin appears, unaware he's walking into a trap. The strike is fast. The video skips frames, but the prosecution doesn't need to show the worst of it. The timeline, the footage, the messages, They say enough. The prosecution isn't just building a case. They're peeling back layers of motive. And now, they reveal the part no one saw coming. Financial documents. Screens flash up showing a timeline of transactions tied to Karmelo Anthony's parents, all made within days of the attack. One name keeps appearing, Austin Metcalf. Prosecutors allege that the motive wasn't just personal, it was financial. Austin had reportedly threatened to expose a fraudulent real estate deal involving the Anthonys, a deal that could have unraveled everything they'd built. On the screen, a PDF of a wire transfer sits next to a text from Karmelo's father. He's not gonna ruin this. He talks. We're done. You hear murmurs ripple across the benches. Then the next slide appears. An email from Austin to a law firm, time-stamped 2 weeks before the attack. The subject line, whistleblower report. The contents are confidential, but the implication is clear. He knew something, and the Anthonys knew he knew. You look over at the Metcalf family. Austin's mother clutches a necklace bearing his initials. His father stares straight ahead, unmoving. No emotion, just resolve. As if they've known all along that this wasn't just a senseless act, but a silencing. A journalist scribbles notes beside you. The judge leans forward, and then comes the final blow. The Anthony family accountant is called to the stand. His testimony? Explosive. He confirms that $1.2 million was funneled through shell companies, set up months before the murder, and that after Austin confronted them in person, the tone of internal conversations shifted drastically. Now the question isn't just why, it's how deep this goes, and viewers are left wondering, what would you do if someone close to you was targeted, not because of who they are, but what they found out? You're staring at the screen when the prosecution drops what they call the nail in the coffin, a still frame from a grainy security video. It shows Karmelo Anthony's father, hooded, pacing outside the rear entrance of the Metcalf residence, 2 nights before the murder. The timestamp doesn't lie. Gasps break out. The Metcalf family attorney raises both hands, almost in disbelief, as if even they didn't expect this. Then comes the full video. It's short, no sound, just body language. You watch Karmelo's father walk to the back gate, try the latch, then quickly walk away, looking over his shoulder. The prosecutor freezes the screen. This was no random act, she says. This was a scouting trip. The defense team scrambles. They object. They claim the footage is circumstantial, that the figure in the video could be anyone, but their voice cracks. They know it's a losing battle. The judge allows the video into evidence. Then, another clip. This time it's traffic cam footage. A car matching the description of the Anthony family's second vehicle was caught just 5 blocks from the Metcalf house. Engine idling, lights off, same date, same time window. And that's when the courtroom shifts again, from shock to dread. Because this wasn't just a confrontation that got out of hand. This was a premeditated, step-by-step plan that the prosecution says involved surveillance, route planning, and timing. A reporter whispers, "They were stalking him." You glance around. Even Karmelo isn't looking at his parents anymore. He's sunk into his chair, staring at the defense table, unmoving. And now everyone is asking the same thing. If this was just the tip of the iceberg, what other secrets are still buried beneath the surface? You brace yourself as the next piece of evidence flickers onto the courtroom screen, a series of text messages pulled from a forensic data recovery report. The messages had been deleted, buried deep in an encrypted backup, but now they're the center of the prosecution's strategy, and they read like the pages of a crime novel. At the top of the chain, a message from Karmelo's mother to his father. It's time-stamped 3 days before the attack. It's almost time. He won't see it coming. A ripple of audible shock runs through the courtroom. The judge doesn't bang the gavel. She lets the room react. She knows this moment matters. The prosecution scrolls. The next message is from the morning of the attack. Wear black. Leave your phone. It's not just coordination. It's intent. And when Karmelo's father replies, "Copy," just like we said, a hush falls over the entire room. It's no longer just speculation. These aren't grieving parents who snapped in the heat of emotion. These are people who plotted, prepared, and then tried to erase the trail. The prosecutor's voice doesn't rise. It doesn't need to. The texts speak for themselves. Her closing line for the segment is simple. This wasn't justice. This was a blueprint for murder. Even the defense table is still. One of the junior attorneys lowers his pen and just stares at the floor. And now the public is asking, online and off, if both parents were involved in planning it, Who else knew? Was this a family secret or something even darker? You expect the court to adjourn, but instead, the judge signals for the final clip. Grainy surveillance footage retrieved from a nearby business the night of the murder. It's silent, colorless, and devastating. The timestamp shows 11:41 p.m. You watch two figures approach the scene. One pauses to look around. The other pulls something from their coat. Then, movement. One of them steps forward while the other keeps watch. Within seconds, it's over. The camera doesn't capture the moment of impact clearly, but it catches enough. The outline of the victim collapsing, the perpetrators fleeing, and then silence again. Gasps echo through the courtroom. You can hear the soft weeping of a juror, no longer able to separate herself from what she's just witnessed. Even the court officers shift uncomfortably. No one moves until the judge herself says, "That will be enough." But it's not over. Moments later, the prosecutor confirms what everyone feared. Both parents have changed their plea to guilty in exchange for avoiding the death penalty. It's a deal that spares them execution, but not disgrace. You turn to see Karmelo's face. He's in the back of the courtroom, eyes hidden beneath a hood, fists clenched in his lap. This isn't just the fall. Outside, protesters and reporters gather. Some call for full sentencing. Others demand to know how a family with so much wealth and status could fall this far. The Metcalfs don't speak. They walk out hand in hand, never looking back. And now the question hangs in the air. If this is the end of the trial, is it really the end of the story? Or just the beginning of everything left behind?